Hey, I was on Facebook the other day and I saw Metal Hammer release their top 50 albums, and I just can't believe what I saw.
Yeah, man, I saw that list too. Who would have known Gojira would have won Metal Album of the Year?
Yeah, I listened to that new Gojira album as well. It sounded okay at its best. But you know, there's that other band, that Spirit Box, you know, the band that sounds like a computer made everything. You know, good one on you, Metal Hammer, for picking one of the top albums to be something that sounds so unrealistic and unoriginal, you know, instead of picking bands with actual talent.
Yeah, God forbid they put real albums on this top 50 list. You know, what about the new album from Rectal? That one was pretty badass. Or what about Gastrointestinal Explosion? That one was pretty shitty, but in the best way. Or what about Charles Enema? That was, hands down, the best album of the year.
Metal Hammer, Decibel, Kerrang, we ain't gonna take your shit any longer. Hello everyone, welcome to Full Metal Gamer. I'm Jason. Welcome to my channel. It's a place we discuss all things heavy metal and video games. I hope you enjoyed my beginning skit, as it is going to tell all of you what we're going to be talking about today in our Full Metal discussions. So we're going to be talking about end of the year lists and what I think about them and why people love to bitch about them. So the first thing I want to talk about is what's the purpose of end of the year lists? Because I was a heavy metal journalist. I wrote for the Indie Metal Vault. It was a growing website that unfortunately shut down, but we were on track to becoming up there with the big metal websites. We had the numbers to prove that. So I was a part of a thing, and I'm sad that it's no longer here because it was such a great thing. And I take all of it for granted. I should have done more with it when I had the chance. But put that all aside. So we're going to talk about what's the point. And second, we're going to talk about the generation and the mentality around gatekeeping and just why people bitch. So let's tackle the first topic. What are the point of end of the year list? So when I wrote as a music journalist, I want to be straight up honest with all of you. The main reason why people do end of the year lists because they get views. 100%. End of the year lists got so much traction that it's usually the biggest time of the year for all heavy metal websites. People love lists. And I can most definitely tell you that when I wrote, all the writers that wrote with me, a lot of us never wrote the lists for them to be taken 100% seriously. Most of the times the lists are written because each individual writer wants people to be aware of the bands that they enjoy and like. Period. It was never about saying this band's better than this band. There was no competition at all. Anyone I ever wrote with, that was never the case. It was always either for fun or you wanted to get some exposure for the bands that you really enjoyed. So when you look at these lists from Metal Hammer, Decibel, Kerrang, Metal Injection, Metal Sucks, all of them, every single one of them do this. Some of them might get paid a little bit. I can't say that for certain. I'm just saying that there are PR agents in these websites. They do deal with PR marketing. So it is possible that some people are like, hey, remember this album? You might want to listen to it again. So that's all I'm saying in that regard. So keep that in mind when you look at these lists and you're like, well, of course Gojira got number one. Yes, Gojira got number one because Gojira was probably their biggest. They look back at their analytics. They look back at what got the most attention in their articles from the year. Gojira, Spirit Box, or the biggest. Period. I saw some people talking about why wasn't Chemis's new album on there. Well, I'm going to ask you, why wasn't Wolftooth's album on there? Because they were released later in the year. That's why. They didn't get enough traction. They were out. There were albums released later in the year, and most generally, albums released in middle to late November and on until February, March are dead months. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. They're dead months. You aren't going to get that much traction. Sorry, if you do manage to break through and you get some success releasing albums and coverage within there, then good job. Good for you. I'm glad. Wolftooth did get quite a bit of coverage. But once again, I guarantee you this, most of these writers with these end-of-the-year lists already had their lists made. They already had them made. They did. So, was Wolftooth going to get included on the list? No. Was Chemist going to get included on these lists? No. That's why. The lists were already made. They had to have time to edit and proofread and, just determining whether they had the bandwidth. There's things involved. So that's the reason why Chemist and them didn't end up on the list. I can't say that for certain, but I am 95% certain that is the case. So now, knowing all of this, let's move on to the second part. Why do people bitch and bitch and bitch and complain so much? There's times I genuinely don't understand. So I am going to be 31 soon. And in the metal world, of course, I'm considered young. In the world in general, I'm considered young. But I've been involved in the metal scene for 15 years now. I've seen and met some interesting people. I have some insights. I have done some things. I have a pretty good idea how things generally work now. And it also comes to terms, and I've also seen a lot of attitudes and mentalities change in the last 15 years. In the last 5 years alone, I have noticed people's mentality shift. Maybe not all of it, but I know some have shifted. Like before, it was really, really easy to shit on a lot of bands. But Limp Bizkit just released a new album, and I've been seeing people say good things about it. The album was called Still Sucks. I even think that Limp Bizkit expected people to say shitty things about it. But from what I've been seeing, people have been pretty positive about it. Nu metal made a comeback. Bands like Techarch, Trash Boat, Korn is still one of the biggest bands on the planet. 10 years ago, nu metal was dead. It didn't exist, except for Korn. But people, for some reason, didn't think of Korn as nu metal anymore. For some reason, more like industrial metal. But they're nu metal, so the mentality has shifted. So, and I've not noticed people gatekeep as much, at least in my personal circles. Before, there were some individuals that had very, very, very strong opinions about how things should be. And even when it came to how you produce music and stuff, using Patreon, hell, 10 years ago, you were considered a poser if you used a website like Patreon. Like, you should grind, you should do things the hard way, because the older generation, they had nothing but tape trading and stuff like that. But nowadays, start a Patreon, get paid. because I think everyone realizes that you aren't going to make that money anymore. Things have changed. So, but why hasn't everyone's mentality changed when it comes to these lists? Why are people shitting on Spirit Box? I've been seeing people saying some pretty negative things about Spirit Box. It's like, why? Spirit Box is freaking cool. Like, their videos were cool. The way it's just such a feel-good story for that band, because they were members of an old band. I Wrestled a Bear once, and other type bands. They've been around for a long time, and now all of a sudden they're one of the biggest bands. They're going to be Periphery level soon. I hope that the momentum continues, that they get that big. So why wouldn't you feel good for them? Why wouldn't you encourage them? Why, when they are mentioned like number 3 or number 2 or best single or best song, why are people upset? They're like, oh, they just sound generic, blah, blah, blah. there's just a computer could have wrote this. I've literally seen that. I've seen these comments. I've seen not just a few. I've seen a lot of them. It's like, it's a lot of people who are holding on to the past and they can't move forward. This is the way things are going to be. In the next 10 years, TikTok, the metaverse, these are going to be the main two things that's going to be driving heavy metal forward. And Spotify, unfortunately, Spotify's here to stay. So those are three things to embrace. And people have got to get with the times. I'm sorry. Things move on. If you don't stay relevant with the times, then you can't move forward. So that's how I see it. And mentality has got to change. You've got to be okay with new metal making a comeback. Who thought that it wasn't going to make a comeback at some point? All things return. All trends return. All fads return at some point. All things also go away at some point. So, I don't know. Those are just a few of my thoughts about the whole thing. And I hope you found some sort of clarity, some sort of epiphany in this discussion. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling at this point. But anyway, if you enjoyed my rambling, please hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that like. Hit that bell. Let you know when videos like this goes live on my channel. Check out my description down below. Check out my Bandcamp page. Buy music from me. Help support this channel. Help me buy a new computer so I can make better videos. And I can buy cooler posters. Hey, that's a good band. They made it onto a few lists. Beautiful Distraction. So, anyway, thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a wonderful upcoming work week. Have a wonderful Christmas. I think, 1 or 2 more videos that I'm going to be doing for this coming week. And then I'm going to be taking a break until after the new year. So, have a wonderful night, everyone. And always remember, long live heavy metal.